Advances in technology, digital innovation, and changing client expectations are set to shake up the banking industry. Lieselbeb Mackay, who's head of the Foundry at Rand Merchant Bank, is charting the corporate and investment bank's course toward a digital bank. She joins us with more. Liesel, nice to have you with us.
Thank you.
Tell us, what does the future of banking look like?
Well, banking is a very innovative industry as a whole. It's an industry that survived since the beginning of time, since Mesopotamia, and it's probably one of the most innovative industries. It's constantly having to evolve. Where we are now in bank is we're seeing this amazing technology coming from all sides. How do we use AI? What does cryptocurrency mean for us? What does blockchain technology mean for us? And more importantly, what is a banker? And I think, where do we see banking? Often people will say there won't be banks, there'll always be banking. It's some kind of a mixture between the two, where we're going to see bankers being different skills, and we're going to see banking become more tech than it has been up to now.
So it's safe to say that there's still some uncertainty. So how do you, as head of the Foundry, help RMB chart its course toward becoming a digital bank?
Well, we're experimenting, so the only way to figure it out is to play, right? And so what we're doing is thinking about what could banking be, and more importantly for RMB, what could we be doing differently, how could we be doing differently, and what could we be giving our clients differently than we are now. And that's what we're playing with. What we don't want to do is just digitize RMB, create a new RMB that looks exactly the same, just digital. That wouldn't make any sense. We're kind of going, why do we do that? What's the client need we're serving? What's totally irritating about the way we're doing that right now? And then what do we do about that? The tech is there. The tech is just an enabler.
Tech as an enabler, but as I understand, the Foundry is an innovation hub. And innovation hubs, by their very nature, they're thought to attract the visionaries, the people who can dream up ideas, execute them in almost no time, and are fast-paced, fast-moving. But a bank is thought to be a bit more traditional, conservative, slow-paced. How do you marry the two together and get people from the bank to buy into the Foundry's ideas, and the other way around as well?
It's a lot about the culture that you have within the two organizations. So in the Foundry, we are about just do anything. Done is all that matters. So failing means done, starting means done, just do anything, go. And that means we have to encounter some of these hurdles of the slow organization, and what we're trying to do is figure out a way to not put the bank's processes at risk, or risk what the bank's doing, or change the way the bank is inherently, but rather navigate it just somewhat differently. So we say we're pathfinding new paths, both in terms of what we're doing, but also how we do it for the bank, and then teaching the bank some of what we learn along the way. Obviously, an innovation lab, which we are, some things work, some don't. We failed spectacularly at some things and succeeded in others, and that's the joy of it, is to create a space where you can try, you can have a go, and create a culture where it's okay, because people often say, fail fast, and it sounds amazing. No one wants to fail. It's awful. It's soul destroying when you try something and work so hard and then you fail. It's how do you create a culture where it feels okay?
But then surely, what are the lessons you learn from actually failing? And how do you put those into your future developments?
Yeah, that's the important thing, right? So we've learned tons of lessons. The most important thing we've learned on this journey is nobody likes ugly. So we've built amazing products with these beautiful engineering backends, and you show them to someone with a rudimentary UI and they kind of go, yeah. And so now we show beautiful products to people with a rudimentary backend and they go, wow. So nobody likes ugly. That's the one thing we've learned. The other thing we've learned is that FOMO is a no-no. You can't do everything. You have to focus. And we've become very good at really honing down. It's like a thesis, I'm going to write a thesis to save the world, and your professor eventually gets to like one little theory of who knows what that you have to write about. It's been the same for us. You can't change banking, the whole of it. But what you can do is narrow it down to a white space where no one's playing, and just hone in on that and do it beautifully and amazingly. And that's how we're getting to succeed. And it's creating a culture where that's all okay. It's okay to try, it's okay to fail. And there's a lot of love around. Love doesn't sound like a banking thing, but it really is. You have to feel quite cared for to feel safe in that environment. And it's also about bringing people with just skills banks don't have. So the team that we have in the Foundry aren't bankers. I think 2 people are ex-bankers out of the probably 45 people working on projects that we've got at any one time. Most of our team are outsourced, so when I say 45, they're not all ours, but most of the people they're software engineers, they're creatives out of agency worlds, they're ex-consultants, those innovative thinkers that you mentioned in the beginning, lots of engineering background, data science, things banks don't generally hire for now, but they will in future. That's what bankers will look like.
Now you mentioned there have been a few failures, but there have also been some success.
Yeah.
Can you talk us through some of the success you've had and what kind of products this has led to being filtered into RMB?
Yeah, so our biggest success has been in the blockchain and cryptocurrency space, where 2 years ago when we basically took a bet to focus a lot of resources into that space and built a team, we had no idea whether there would be a world for blockchain. So that's been a call that we did right, and we've built an incredible team, and we've built an amazing product in that space and are continuing to look at other products in that space, and we're getting quite far down the journey of not only understanding the technology but understanding how to build it ourselves and what we can do with it and what each of the different platforms means and how to take that to our clients. So that's been hugely successful. The other success we've had is just transforming this thinking around what is digital. So in wholesale banks, mostly what we do is we interact person to person. So a person would either phone a person or go speak to a person, have a whole lot of meetings, send a whole lot of emails, and then we would do a deal. Now, if you think about how your life operates on a daily basis, it's not like that, right? So how do you get bankers' minds around, actually, there's a better way? Because the whole thing that comes up is trust and human touch. But you can have trust and human touch and digital. And where we've been quite successful is creating this digital human touch in quite complex products that our clients can get access to without losing the thing that we say we're so good at, trust and human touch. So yeah, that's been a huge success for us as well, and watch the space coming to clients soon. The other thing we've been good at is playing with deep learning and changing some of the data languaging in the bank. So wholesale banks don't have big data on the scale that retail has, but we do have data. And it's how we think about that data and how do we use machine learning to do some of the work that we are doing in RMB. And we've really been experimenting quite deeply, but in deep learning, not just algorithms and analytics, in looking at how do we do things people do, or people don't even know how they do it, using a machine. But we're quite far down the line and developing quite a unique algorithm for that.
You've talked about some of the projects you are developing, but if you were to single out just one thing that would contribute to RMB being relevant and also successful as a digital bank going forward, what would that be for you?
It'll be about the culture and it'll be about the people, which is what RMB is known for anyway. So to be successful as a digital organization, you have to think differently, and your culture needs to think differently. The culture will do what it sees is best to survive. That's how human beings are. So we will need to create, all banks will need to create a culture where it is okay to fail. It's okay to hire people that don't look like traditional bankers. It is okay to test the boundaries. It is okay to ask, why are we doing this, and do it completely differently. So I wouldn't say there's going to be this amazing product that's going to come and save us. No, it's going to be all about mindset. It's all going to be about relearning, reskilling, new skills.
Liesl, that's where we're going to leave it. Thank you so much.
Absolute pleasure.
Liesl Mackay is head of the Foundry at Rand Merchant Bank.